Greco Cullen.
And I'm Morgan Hudspeth.
And this is Tower News Network.
Today, TNN has a special broadcast specifically focusing on the news around the world, the United States, Missouri, and Ville des Chenes and Oak Hill School.
First up is Lexi Collins with information on the current world news. Her report focuses on the effects of terrorism on lives around the world.
Lexi will explicitly talk about the Brussels terrorist attack and the hijacking in Egypt, highlighting how the people are adjusting to their new reality.
Over the last 2 weeks, many horrific events have occurred worldwide, but there were three major stories that dominated the headlines. The first story that captivated the world was the attack of the people of Brussels. Last Tuesday, on March 22nd, there was a devastating attack at the Brussels airport and the city metro station. The attack killed 35 people and injured more than 300. ISIS claimed responsibility for these attacks, which claimed the lives of people from all over the world. Another terrorist attack that occurred recently was the one in Pakistan on Easter Sunday. A splinter group of Pakistani Taliban claimed responsibility for the bombing in Lahore Park that targeted Christians as they celebrated the Easter holiday. 74 people were killed, 24 of which being children and 362 injured. The group vowed that the bombing would not be their last attack and they were going to have many more to follow. This wretched act touched the heart of many lives, especially happening on such a sacred day for Christians. The last terrible incident that made headlines was the Egyptian plane hijacking that occurred on March 29th. Flight MS-181 was taken over by a passenger claiming to be wearing a suicide belt. Although the airline official later revealed that the belt was fake, the hijacker's motive is still unclear other than the fact that he was deeply upset. This was not an act of terrorism, but rather just a regular, mentally unstable civilian. No one was injured during this hijacking, and the plane landed safely. This is Lexi Collins reporting for Tower News Network. Back to you, Morgan.
Thank you, Lexi, for that insightful report.
And now, here's Caroline McLaughlin with information on all things about the presidential primary politics. Also, Caroline has updates on every basketball fan's favorite time of year, March Madness.
Caroline, take it away.
Hi, I'm Caroline McLaughlin, and today I'll be reporting national news. It was an anticlimactic Final Four in a lot of ways, as both teams won by double-digit margins. Second-seeded Villanova buried Oklahoma by a record 44-point margin, while top-seeded North Carolina stemmed the tide late in a big win over Syracuse. Villanova's 44-point win over Oklahoma in the Final Four is the largest national semifinal history. The Villanova Wildcats won the national championship with a 77-74 win. Chris Jenkins' buzzer-beating three-pointer ended the Final Four and Villanova's 31-year title drought in dramatic fashion. The 6'6", 240-pound forward spent much of his first half on the bench after picking up 2 early fouls. He picked up his game in the second half to finish with 14 points and one of the greatest three-point shots in the history of the game. 8 seconds. That's what it took to make the greatest championship game ever played. What a season. And now on to politics. Who would have thought that the Democratic race between Hillary and Bernie would be so neck and neck? As the race goes on, Trump becomes less and less popular, but is still ahead with the delegates. And it looks like he's going to be the Republican nominee. That's all that's happening in the nation. Back to you, Kara and Morgan.
Congratulations to Villanova for taking home first place. Thank you, Caroline.
Next, Margot Kamen and Margot Wright are battling it out on the controversial issue of the legal drinking age.
The drinking age, as we all know, is 21. However, should it be lowered or stay the same? Let's hear the face-off between the two Margos.
Hello, I am Margot Wright, and I am here for the drinking age face-off. The drinking age in the United States must be lowered to 18 years of age, in respect to our rights as adults and to better our country as a whole. Only 12 countries in the entire world still have a drinking age at 21. 72% of the world has a drinking age lower than 21. America must look at the success of alcohol control in these countries and follow in the world's footsteps in lowering the drinking age. In America, you are considered an adult at 18. When someone becomes an adult, it is their right to consume legal substances. At the age of 18, you can leave home, buy a house, get married, and go to war, but not have a beer? That just doesn't make sense. Allowing 18 to 20-year-olds to drink alcohol in regulated environments with supervision would decrease unsafe drinking activity. Kids at 18 years old drink anyways. This way, they can be controlled and they can be monitored. According to Procon.com, there were fewer drunk driving accidents in many countries with drinking age of 18, for instance, Europe. Lowering the drinking age from 21 to 18 would diminish the thrill of breaking the law to get a drink, normalizing alcohol consumption as something done responsibly. High non-compliance with drinking age of 21 promotes general disrespect and non-compliance with other areas of the U.S. law. 21 encourages adults to maybe get fake IDs or break laws in other ways. It is happening anyways. At 18, we can monitor it in public areas. Also, 18-year-olds would not be afraid to seek help in unsafe drinking situations. Not only would it help to keep everyone safe, it would help the American economy. Kids are buying alcohol with fake IDs in our environment, and if it is legal at 18, then they can go to bars and they can put money into our economy. The majority of countries in the world that have the drinking age of 18 have proven that it is a positive impact. In our country, we have freedom, and as adults, it is our right to choose what we consume. Overall, lowering the drinking age to 18 would keep our country safe, aware, and fair to citizens. Thank you. On to you, Margot.
Thank you, Margaret Wright. I'm Margaret Kamen, presenting the other side of the debate. Since states began setting the legal drinking age at 21, the law has been one of the most studied in our history. The evidence is overwhelming. More than 50 high-quality scientific studies found that the 21 law saves lives, both on and off the road. And the public agrees. 72% of adults think that lowering the drinking age would make alcohol more accessible to kids, and nearly half think that it would increase binge drinking among teens, according to a new nationwide insurance poll. This is why stakeholders from scientific, medical, and public health organizations have joined MAD to form the Support 21 Coalition, which stands behind the indisputable scientific research that lowering the drinking age would only make underage drinking and binge drinking far worse. Alcohol is a neurotoxin. Research has shown that the harmful effects of alcohol abuse are magnified on a teenager's still developing brain. The adolescent brain is a work in progress, marked by significant development in areas of the brain responsible for learning, memory, complex thinking, planning, inhibition, and emotional regulation. Adolescent drinkers not only do worse academically, but are also at a greater risk for social problems like depression, violence, and suicidal thoughts. Lowering the drinking age would have dangerous long-term consequences. Early teen drinkers are not only more susceptible to alcoholism, but to developing the disease earlier and more quickly than others. The problem of binge drinking needs to be addressed, but lowering the drinking age would not only be short-sighted, but deadly. The simple fact is the 21 law saves lives and is therefore non-negotiable. Thank you. Back to you, Morgan and Kara.
You know, it is ironic that an 18-year-old can enlist in the Army, vote, and be tried as an adult, but cannot buy a beer.
You make a good point, Morgan. Now, Paige Cribbin has information on all the state and local news.
Paige will provide the latest on the Cardinal baseball team, information on the potential tax increase for the public school districts, and the new Ferguson police chief.
Hello, Villa Duchenne. Paige Cribbin here with Tired News Network. Let's take a look at what is happening in the Show Me State. Let's start with local news. Our beloved Cardinals have started the season off in a rough patch. New signings, fierce competition, and injuries have not helped our team start off strong. Last year they had a .253 team batting average, and it seems like they will have trouble doing better than this by taking a look into their spring training record. Although they have had a rocky start, only time will be able to tell how they will perform when the season truly starts. In other news, this past March, hundreds of St. Louis natives marched against violence in St. Louis. Those who marched were there to show support for families mourning the loss of loved ones who died due to violence. The march was sponsored by Better Family Life, whose mission is to establish social, cultural, artistic, youth, economic, housing, and educational programs that help promote positive and innovative changes in the lives of individuals and their families. In other news, St. Louis public school districts are asking voters of St. Louis to upturn property taxes and pay for school improvements and operations. School district officials haven't asked St. Louis voters to increase the levy for 25 years, making this a significant and controversial decision. As for state news, Missouri ties for 18th place in the nation for federal spending. And Ferguson now has a new police chief. The new chief, Major Delrish Moss, is from Miami, Florida. What makes him exceptional is his experience with 2 decades of dealing with media and community leaders. St. Louis citizens are hopeful he will help heal the Ferguson community after the 2014 fatal shooting of Michael Brown.
Wow, I really hope the Cardinals get out of this funk.
Finally, Kayla McIntosh has a report on everyone's favorite all-girls high school in St. Louis, Villa Duchesne.
She will highlight all the excitement of all the upcoming events within the Villa community this spring.
From junior ring to every student's favorite day, field day, Kayla has it all.
And now here's Kayla.
The month of April will be very busy at the castle, with multiple events leading into the final month of May. The annual Father-Daughter started this month off on April 2nd. It was held at the Ritz-Carlton at 6:30 p.m. Up next was the prom, which was held at the Magic House on April 9th. The theme of the prom this year was The Great Gatsby. Also of great significance was the junior ring ceremony, which took place on April 13th. This ceremony began with a mass and ended with a luncheon for the juniors and their families at Belle Reef Country Club. That same week, the seniors were inducted into the Alumni Association on April 15th. Field Day, an important tradition, will be held on April 21st, involving Oak Hill children, middle school, and high school students, as well as family and friends. The most high-profile and culminating event at the castle is graduation on May 15th on the front lawn. The young women of the senior class will be dressed in beautiful white gowns. They will receive their diplomas, anxious to continue their journeys, yet sad to be leaving Villa. The next evening, the seniors will perform the Maypole Dance on May 16th. As of now, the seniors have been taking out a couple of hours out of their Thursdays and Sundays to practice for this St. Louis private school tradition. The evening after the dance, the seniors are giving a gift of a class celebration dance in Forest Park. Life at the castle in April and May is very busy and exciting, with ceremonies, social events, and even spring sports. With blooming trees and flowers, with green grass and spring foliage, traditions dominate the lives of everyone connected with Villa Duchesne and Oak Hill School.
Thank you, Kayla. We always love hearing about the traditions and annual events at Villa Duchesne. Now for some heartwarming news.
A former homeless man made a donation to Dwight Township High School in Dwight, Illinois, after 2 of the students helped him in a blizzard.
3 years ago, 2 seniors in Dwight's school helped a man in a blizzard by giving him clothes and money for a train ticket so he could see his father.
The homeless man's father later passed away, leaving his son, Wade Herder, an estate worth $1.2 million. Since then, Herder has moved to Santa Monica, California, and sent a generous $10,000 gift to Dwight Township High School.
It goes to show a simple act of kindness can go a long way.
Thank you for tuning in. I'm Morgan Hudspeth.
I'm Kiriko Khan, and this has been Tower News Network.